addiction and healing, but season 2, some questions create cages and better questions create doors. And so that's what the conversations this season are going to be about. And I'm excited. Do you go by Kathy or Catherine?
Kathy, either one is fine, but Kathy.
Okay. I'm excited to get to know Kathy. Your story is heartbreaking, but amazing all at once, which I totally get because I've been there. And it's, how we take those next steps and how we move not through the grief, but how we move with the grief for the rest of our lives. So I have one question and then we can just have a conversation. We need to know a little bit about you. So you're, little nutshell. But what was one of your biggest lighthouse moments is what I call them. So that moment where you realized there was a light and, because we get stuck in the loop, tell ourselves, and that's why I talk about better questions instead of asking, why me? Why is this happening? What is the better question that will shift our perspective or create a new lens that we can see something that will take us that forward step. So one of your lighthouse moments would be awesome.
Yeah. So the first one that comes to mind is a pretty big one, which is what they are meant to be. But so when I was in the hospital, I actually had started writing my chapter in the book and was going through, realized how much I needed to heal when I started writing that chapter about losing my husband. Anyways, and so, but during that, I ended up getting sick and ended up in ICU in the hospital with jaundice. Had no idea I was sick. I actually, and going through my healing, I'd gotten healthier again. I started eating better. I quit sugar. I was exercising again. Like I was doing all the things that I had wanted to do my whole life. I wasn't doing, but ended up in the hospital. So it was really crazy. And so as I'm trying to get stronger and heal, I end up there. Well, because my sick and the jaundice had really kind of snuck up on me. So it was a gradual process. So it was about 6 to 8 months before I realized I even had it. Anyway, but during that time I was tired. I was just done. I was tired of my kids doing everything for me and helping me. Felt like I was a burden to them. I mean, I just had all these things going through my head. I had my husband was gone. I was kind of, at that point I was over wanting to join him, but I did go through that process as well. But coming out the other side. So, but I was going under for a procedure. And so I had, I call it my chat with Jesus, because I was just done. And I just pleaded and said, if you've got something more for me, I need you to show me so I can get on my mission, because I love what I do and I'm happy. But at the same time, I'm dependent upon my children. I'm just tired of it. So if I'm going to be a burden, just take me now or show me what I can do that will help other people. And when I woke up, I just had this vision of helping the other widows. It just really hit me when I went out looking for help, how there was just not that much help out there. And so, so he basically just put a fire under my butt and said, you need to get out there and use your expertise with taxes and finances to help women while they go through dealing with grief and money and your finances while you're, trying to rebuild your life. It's a process, and it's a very hard process while you're in the middle of the brain fog and everything else. And anyway, so that was my lighthouse moment.
Right. Yeah. It's so, especially losing a spouse, because that's sometimes all of your income, or at least half your income. And then being, like you said, being in that grief with all the brain fog and all the other things that we have to deal with in those first several months, that's a lot to deal with.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And the last thing you want to think about is your money and your finances, right? So
Right.
it's, but sometimes, but there are some things you have to deal with and focus on. Otherwise you lose things. So, but I didn't know the statistics. I didn't realize that, like so many widows are in poverty once their husband passes because, like you said, their income is, they're down to one income now. Um, so many different things. And then widows make over 100 financial decisions in their first year of widowhood, of just all the changes of everything that you go through. Um, and I even going through, I was lucky because I handled the finances. So for me, I just kind of stepped right into it. But still, I mean, it's not easy no matter which side of the coin you're on. But there's so many
Right.
women like I, I had one that I had to show how to pay her water bill because she did not even know how to pay her bills because her husband had taken such good care of her whole life. Um, so I was just seeing so many different drastic um, lives out there or needs for what widows need.
Right. Yeah, I can't imagine. I've been through divorce, but not been through death of a spouse, but I'm sure there's similar things, but still it's a whole different type of grief between divorce and they're just not here anymore from one day to the next. That's, crazy. And I can't imagine all of the decisions. 100 financial decisions in the first year. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to deal with because, and even if they did both work, you're not going to be working immediately because you're dealing with all the other side of the loss and
Mm-hmm.
your own physical and mental health. And, I wound up in the hospital after my son died. Also, my first son, I got home. I had to go back to Indiana for memorial service, and I got home Friday night and I drove myself to the hospital Saturday morning, and I had bilateral pneumonia, and they kept me in there for 10 days, you know,
Wow.
and it's just so much that you don't think about because even though you're feel like you might be functioning and you're making decisions all the time, your body still takes all of that on, and
Mm-hmm.
your body holds all that memory of trauma.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's definitely a hard process, and it's like, and even my health issues I realize are things that just have life things I've had to deal with. I feel like the things I do have wrong with me health wise are like my anger about my husband dying and then having to build a new life. And I can make that list and go on and on and on about how angry I was, and still can be sometimes. So I feel like that kind of manifested itself in my liver. And then I've got thyroid. I have an overactive thyroid. And I feel like I lost my voice a long time ago. My mother was a narcissist, and so was my husband. So in hindsight, I didn't even, realize a lot of it until retroactively once I'm doing this healing
Right.
for my husband. I was like, wait a minute. And so I realized more trauma that, to me as growing up, it wasn't that big of a deal. I wasn't beaten. I wasn't, I didn't have the physical things. So to me, I was like, I had a decent childhood. But when I got into the trenches, I realized no, it wasn't that that fluffy, and that
Right.
I did stifle my, in my opinion, my entire life, just trying to keep peace and just want to be. I had all the itises, I call them. I was the people pleaser, perfectionist, procrastinator.
Me
You name it,
too.
I had all. I was like, and why am I like this? And then when I started learning why, then I'm like, oh, so it all started making sense. Um, and anyways, and so then it was like, well, if I can heal this, then by golly, I can help some other women heal some stuff too.
Right. Right. And wow, to realize that after he's gone, that's interesting that you went through the trauma of losing him and all that grief, but then you realize, oh wait, this wasn't the greatest anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely, it has its ups and downs, there, and I made the choice. And I think going in the relationship, I knew, but I thought I could, I thought I was, oh, I can help him. I can fix
We
him. I
think we
can,
can fix them.
yeah, but
Yeah.
they've got to make that choice. We can't make that for them. So that's the problem with that one. But he tried, he tried so many times to try to be better and try to, fix things for himself. And, it was just a constant struggle.
Well, and so many of us don't. we try to be a better person, or we think we're broken and we're not broken. We just have to see what we need to heal. Because obviously that's where his stemmed from, was whatever trauma wasn't healed already. And to be able to look back and say, okay, that was his stuff. And I had to do that with my boys too. They made their choices and they were adults. And it wasn't my job to save them or try to fix them, because I can't, number one. Number two, it's not my job to meddle in their journey. They came here to learn their own lessons. And there is nothing I could have done or not done that would have changed the outcomes.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. And as horrible as losing him was, there was nothing I could do to stop it.
Right.
It's like, as they say, when it's your time, it's your time.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't know if you want to get into the story of how he died and things like that, but that was another shocker because it wasn't expected. Which I can get into that if you want me to, or we can talk about some other stuff.
It's totally open, whatever comes up.
We just walked into it, so I figured, let's go.
Right? I just go with the flow. I feel like whatever's supposed to come out is what comes out.
So, yes. But yeah, so he, was very strong. He was working on my mother's house. So my family was in Georgia. He moved me to Texas. So I'm here in Texas working and taking care of the kids. And he was going back and forth traveling to fix the house up so then we could sell it. Anyways, that day he had been moving a lot of furniture and appliances and different things. He'd gone out in his kayak in the lake after work, thought he'd have a nice little afternoon, came back and didn't tie it up good. So he looks out a couple hours later, and the kayak's in the middle of the lake. And it was March 30th, so it was a beautiful spring day, but it was still cold. I think he underestimated the temperature of the water. The police said that it was 42 degrees, but it was sunny and beautiful, So I think he just didn't expect it to be that cold. And then when he swam out there, he got literally almost to the kayak and was lifting his arm up when he went under. And then all the boats came over trying to, jump in and find him, and unfortunately it didn't. But he was strong. He was a strong swimmer. He was a strong man. Like, it made no sense as to why that was his cause of death. I mean, it just blows your mind.
And that makes it really hard to process initially, is how does this even happen?
Mm-hmm.
A freak accident is one thing, or, my oldest son OD'd, that he was an addict. And and my younger son, my middle boy, he was in active alcoholism at the time. So it wasn't far-fetched that, I waited 20 years. So we have that grief coming away. And so but I can't imagine just something freak like that makes no sense.
It was like it just added to the trauma,
Right.
I don't know that, but there's something to be said for all. They all have their downs and their ups, I guess. So,
Right.
As far as racing goes, and and I think even when you expect it, it doesn't make it any easier for sure. But
No, not at all. Even when it's long term, it still doesn't make it any easier that they're really gone. I just lost my mom 2 months ago, and she just turned 89 years old 2 days before she died. Yes, she was old and she was declining. She didn't have terrible physical health, but her mind was going. She was starting to have memory issues and dementia. But even though it's coming, you don't expect it. And you don't want to. Your mind doesn't want to go there, especially when it's parents. You don't ever want to think about that. And, I was just telling somebody the other day, my cousin, I was talking to my cousin on the phone the other day, and I said, both of my parents, my dad died 9 years ago, and then my mom just recent, and they both went extremely fast. My dad got up in the morning and went out and sat down in his chair in the living room, and my mom said he was like drooling a little bit, so she went to get a tissue, turned around, he was gone.
Mm.
But and she went to bed that night. My sister said she went to bed, she was doing well, she slept good, and just never woke up.
Mm.
How beautiful is that? They both
Mm.
went very peacefully, no pain, no medical intervention. They just ended life. And you couldn't ask for anything better, especially
Exactly.
when I've had to deal with all the other on the other end.
Mhm. Exactly. If we could just all go out that way, that would be great.
Yeah, it would be much, much easier to process.
Yes. Exactly.
And that would explain the anger too, because
Mhm.
that would I mean, I felt that too with my son, my oldest. He was he was doing well. He was trying to be sober, um, and he had just actually I talked to him uh, probably within a week before he died. Uh, he said, "I'm doing well, Mom." He said, "I'm really, really trying. I'm not quite there, but I'm really, really trying."
Mm.
And he overdosed on a drug that was not his choice of drug, that he had never tried before. And it's like, what the hell? What the hell happened?
Right.
What were you thinking in that moment? Because fentanyl is not something you play with, and that was not even your choice of drug.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And it's like, that was hard. I was very angry with him I mean, it wasn't a long period of time, but I had to process through all that. I had to process through all that anger at him and his new wife because he had just gotten remarried,
Mm.
only for a couple of weeks, and she was with him. They both were there
Mm.
getting high, and she survived, even though
Mm.
she OD'd too. They had one Narcan, and she was the closest.
Oh.
So that was my standing anger is,
Mm.
so why did she get it and not my kid, but she's somebody
Mhm.
else's kid, you know?
Yeah.
But I couldn't rationalize that in the moment. I had to be
Yeah.
angry at her. I had to be angry at him. And then I
Mhm.
had to process the anger at myself and the guilt as a
Mhm.
mom, you know.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
it would be a whole lot easier if they all just went peacefully.
Yes. Yes. That's right.
But then we wouldn't grow.
That's true.
So what is your, I guess, what was your biggest lesson? We come here, I believe, and I don't know what your beliefs are, but I believe we come here that we choose lessons to learn in this human experience, and we agree to soul contracts to learn those lessons, and we have a soul purpose. Uh, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned from that? Because this would be your life-changing event, I'm sure.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, the biggest thing was getting my voice back and just and also getting my mission from God. That was a huge a huge winner as far as giving me that purpose because I feel like since that day, I've just had a little bit more of a pep in my step and I've changed. Like people tell me I've changed. I'm not the same person. I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, of course I'm the same person, but they're just like, I don't know what it is about you. You're just, I don't know. And I don't feel like I'm more outspoken or that I'm more loud or that I'm more, but I do feel like I say my piece now. Like before, I guess I would just kind of listen and take what people say and either do, and do whatever I feel like. But now it's kind of like I'll make it a little more not argumentative, but I might push back a little bit and say, well, what about this, or what about this? And a few people have got a little ruffled by that, and I'm just like, I'm not even being mean. I'm just asking a question, or I'm just trying to voice my opinion. And I've made a few people mad that way. And I don't understand why people do that. I think some of it's because I'm a widow, and because they're just something about the label of a widow scares people, and it makes them not want to have that reminder in their life. So I feel like when they see me, or if I talk about my husband, it's like they're over there, oh my gosh, she's talking about her husband again, when I'm actually telling a funny story and I'm laughing this time. Like, it's not a bad thing that I'm telling that story. Yes, I might tell one and cry sometimes. That happens. It's just like telling the story of his death. Most of the days I'm great. I can tell it and I'm fine, but there's days where I can barely get through it. Still,
Yeah,
you think after 7
absolutely.
years that I would, I'd be in a little bit better spot, and I am. But it's like, it's just that grief it's not going to go away. As long as you love that person, that grief's going to survive. And, and the thought of that dying is horrible, because then they really are gone forever. And that terrifies me as well.
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I have learned just in the last several months that there's a huge difference between remembering and being sad. And my whole thing has been about keeping their legacies alive, because they both told me through a friend of mine that is a medium, they both told me, Mom, we still have work to do. We just could not complete it in our human form, but we will through you. And so, all right, no pressure, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Because then I had to go on and do a lot of healing and growth and all that to be in that position that I can do that. But
Mhm.
there's a massive difference. Some moments I remember, or I'll see something or hear something or smell something, and I'm sad. But then I can tell a story about them and be laughing and joking, and I'm happy, and it's joy, and it's remembrance, and we can hold those at the same time.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of us get stuck in that it's only sad.
Mhm.
When I first lost my oldest, I joined some of the Facebook grief groups, and I had to leave because there were parents in there that I just couldn't read their stories. It had been 5, 8 years since they lost their child, and they still couldn't speak their name.
Mm.
Like, I can't, I mean, it was devastating and heartbreaking, and I couldn't hold that emotion.
Mhm.
There is a song lyric that says, you die twice, once when you die, and I want them to be remembered, and I want people to know who my boys were as people, not just as an addict, not just as a violent death, or a mental health problem.
Mhm.
They were so much more than that. That was not their identity.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they taught me so much. And those are the lessons that I want the world to see, so that their legacy lives on. And now I've
Mhm.
built a whole ecosystem around all of that.
Well, there's a big need for it in this world, so so I appreciate your safe space to come and talk about it, because there's so much taboo to people, and they just, I don't know what it is. It's like they just want you to forget your grief and just shove it in a corner and keep
Hey,
going, and that's
oh,
not how
it's
we
been 2 weeks. Are you coming back to work?
yeah. Exactly. Like I'm not going to be okay for like 2 years. So, and not that I should take that much time off, but at the same time, like at least acknowledge that
Well,
I'm
and
different now.
everybody and everybody processes it so differently. But the thing
Mhm.
is, nobody teaches us what grief really is, number one, and how
Mhm.
much there are different types and different levels, and it boils down to any perceived loss is grief. And so it can be anything. And we live with it every day, but nobody even knows that
Mhm.
until you go through a major type of grief.
Mhm.
Then you realize, oh, when I lost my oldest boy, I had to go back and process grief from when I was a teenager and lost my foster sister and my grandfather and, you know, all of those different events that I didn't know how to process because nobody tells you what to do or explains it and says, you need to feel this. They say, oh, have
Mhm.
you cried? Everybody needs to cry. Well, crying doesn't always do much. I mean, yes, it releases in the moment,
Mhm.
but it's not processing the trauma and helping you move forward. So, and the one
Exactly.
thing I didn't have as a parent losing a child, I had an amazing support system, but I didn't have another parent who had been
Mhm.
there. So I can be that for other parents and say, yes, I get it. I understand. And that's exactly what you do for widows.
Mhm. Yeah, and I did the same thing. I when I was 13, I lost my nephews in a fire that were 6 years old, 5 years old, and 6 months old, and it showed me to the core. And I was having a hard time over the Christmas break. It was over happened right before Thanksgiving anyway, so I was out of school for the break, and I was just upset, and I just couldn't get past it. And my mom, I remembered so vividly. It was almost like that movie where they with Cher and what's it, Nick Nolte, when she's like, "Snap out of it." I feel like that's what she did. She didn't slap me, but but she was like, "You can't do this. You have to just keep going." And so she didn't give me the tools that I needed because she didn't have the tools. I'm not blaming her. She
Right.
didn't have the tools to teach me, but she's like, you just got to go on. It's the world continues. It doesn't stop for that. And to me, losing them at such a young age, I've had a different perspective my entire life. I know every day is not promised, and I live every day to the best of my ability, and I let everybody know if I love you, I make sure you know I love you, and I'm not afraid to say those words because I just feel like it's such a big thing that
Right.
this world shuns with everything else is love, and that's we all need some love. But again, it's like, and so when I lost my husband, I realized I did the exact same thing with him that I did with my nephews. I didn't know what to do. All I knew to do was to just keep taking the steps. And of course, I had two children, 12 and 15. So I was afraid to break down in front of them. So there was a lot of grief that I held back and did not deal with because I didn't want to, put that on them or make them sad or whatever. But finally, when I realized, it's like, okay, this is how we're going to deal with it, and then finally processed it. But it took me, 5 years to finally process the grief from losing him, and really, and I think I grieve my nephews again as well because I don't think I fully grieved them back in the day. So, but yeah, but just
Yeah.
showing, like just saying what you're talking about.
Right. Well,
People don't understand. They just want you to get right back on it and pretend like it didn't happen, but it did happen, and and
it
that's what
did
makes me mad.
happen,
It's
and
like,
there
don't
and
forget.
there's that big hole in your life that is just gone. And
Mhm.
and I think like when we were kids, we didn't there wasn't the concern about our mental health and how does this affect the children? We were seen and not heard.
Exactly. A completely different world back then.
Yes, definitely. And it so that makes a lot of sense that as we grew up in that and become adults that don't know how to deal with it. because nobody ever taught us. Nobody knew those tools because it wasn't ever taught to them either.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's definitely something that uh, I want to shout from the rooftops
Yes.
because
I get very
just,
passionate about
yeah,
that.
just people are like, oh, I have this problem. That is probably grief popping up, if you
Mhm.
stop and acknowledge it for a moment and ask those questions of what do you need and where is it coming from, then you can process through it, and then it's not going to affect your life for a long period of time. You're not going to get stuck in that cage because you're asking that better question. And
Exactly.
we tell ourselves those stories on constant loop. Oh, I'm never going to get over this, or I'm just stuck here, or I'm just waiting to go be with my kid in heaven. I heard
Mhm.
that one, and I'm like, what are you doing in the meantime?
Yeah.
You're
Exactly.
you are still here for a reason.
Hmm. Yeah, and I'm now seeing in my children that I taught them the same thing, which is like hurts me to the core that I'm having to having to deal not deal with it, but the fact that I didn't realize how much it affected them, and that I taught them to forget about it and try to just keep going and not let it affect you. So now when I brought up, oh, we need to celebrate his birthday this year, you'd have thought I grew another head because they're just like, why? And then I have to have the talk. Well, this is why, and blah 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 blah. And but what I'm seeing is that I did this, that they learned to process grief like I did, and I showed them the bad way and not the right way. So now I'm trying to reverse that, which is it would have been better if I did it right the first time, but that's not how it works out, is it?
Oh well, there's lessons in all of that too. At
Yeah.
least we have said no, this ends with us,
Yeah.
and it's not going to continue generationally.
Yeah. Exactly. And that was a huge, huge wake up call there, because I thought I'd handled them beautifully. I thought I did great. And that they just, went through it and managed very well. And, now it's like, oh, okay, we need to take a look at this. And, and just said, now,
Yeah,
so now
because
I'm,
at some point it just will explode and
yeah,
cause much more damage.
exactly. And they're still young enough to where, we can reverse this before it's too late. and, and they get later on in life where it's harder, like I did. um, so yeah.
And it gives them the tools to deal with the other types of grief through the rest of their life too.
Exactly. But yeah, we just don't realize how much we affect, how what we do affects other people.
Yeah, very definitely.
Hmm.
And I really saw that with my younger son. He lived with me for the last 6 months, and he he really truly he told me a lot of things very directly, but he didn't say it directly. But there was a song that he really loved, and it said, "I don't believe anyone will really miss me." And I believe he truly thought that, because he talked about going up the mountain and never. He didn't want to live in the pain and the darkness he was in. And I get that, but he had no idea. He was 29, almost 30. He was just shy of 30. He impacted so many people in 30 years. He was one of those kids, you either loved him or you hated him. And there was really no in between.
Hmm.
But, he made friends everywhere and made enemies everywhere too. But he was just really off the wall and goofy and silly. But he was like this old, profound sage kid at 29 years old.
Yes.
And I never had any idea how many lives he impacted until he was gone. So I know he had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And that's one of the biggest reasons to keep it going, keep their legacy alive and keep their memories alive. And when we don't, I'm a storyteller and I believe that our stories are vital, and the passing down of our stories, not just within the family and, not just telling our terrible trauma stories, but everything. I've been remembering so much since the beginning of June, just crazy amounts of information. And like I said, I built a whole ecosystem in the year of June. But now I have all these family memories that are flooding in or just randomly pop in. And I'm like, oh, that's where that came from. Or, that of things I didn't even remember why we did this, where did this tradition come from? Or why do we say this silly thing? And so they're coming back and now they're being documented so that my 20 grandkids and my one and one on the way great grandkids, they will have that and they will be able to look at, oh, that's why we say this. That is why our family doesn't say goodbye, because it's too final. We say see you later and we say I love you. We never say goodbye. And those little things. And it's so vital to pass those things down and to share our stories, because everybody's got something that's going to resonate with someone else. And I told my kids when they were young, if we can help one person to suffer less because of the shit we went through, then it's all worth it.
Yeah, I agree with that. That is, and that triggered a funny memory when you were talking about how you say that, because I'm the same way as far as when I leave, I love you. I say it. I don't care. And my husband got mad at me one day. He was like, I was leaving to go to work or whatever it was, and we were having some tiff about something, and he was so mad at me. He was just like, "Why do you still tell me you love me? We are mad at each other. Like, go to work." And I was like, no, because I know this is a stupid argument. And I want you to know that I love you. And if something happens between now and dinner, that I know my last words to you are I love you and not you asshole or whatever.
Exactly.
So,
And just because I'm mad at you doesn't mean I don't love you still.
Exactly. But it was just funny because he was just like, I don't understand. What is wrong with you? But you will get it one day. I hope you don't have to get it, but but unfortunately he did. But yeah, it's just. But I've been like that my whole life. It was like I just learned at a young age. That's my meaning in life. If I do nothing else in this world, you're loved by me, and you're gonna know it. So.
I didn't realize how touchy-feely my kids and I are. We're huggers, and I have 10 kids. So there's a lot of us. So there's always touchy-feely because there's never space enough for everybody. But I didn't realize that not everybody's like. And comes around things, and like, don't you hug your family? Don't you hug your parents and your siblings? And not everybody does. I'm like, oh, that's kind of heartbreaking. Well, if you're in my house,
really
you're getting a hug. And I'm going to tell you I love you, and I'm going to feed you.
Yes, exactly.
And I guess that's why my house was where everybody hung out. All the kids came to my house because I didn't let my kids go running around where I didn't know what they were doing and where they were at. So everybody came to my house, and They either loved us and never left, or we terrified them and they never came back.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have joined right in and you'd have thought I was part of your family. That's how I am.
Some of the kids that were like only children would come to my house and they would just be so overstimulated.
Oh, I loved it because I was an only child, so I had no, it was me and my mom,
Yeah.
so I was just my life was boring, and anytime
Right?
I would go to my friends' houses, I just always loved it because they had bigger families, and it was just always something going on. I just loved it. It's like I want
Yeah.
to be over here. I want to hang out with you.
Right? I
So,
can't imagine just, I can't imagine being an only child. I was the baby for 8 years and then we adopted my little brother, and which was exciting. So it wasn't like, oh, you're being replaced. He was 5. So it was exciting, and then I wasn't the baby anymore, but I was older. I wasn't real young. But I couldn't imagine not having siblings.
yeah, I do have 4, but they're older than me. They're like 20 years older than me, so they were gone and left home by the time I popped out.
Right?
And so, but I loved it when they came home because then I was like, oh, excitement.
Yeah. There's
But they didn't
noise
do
in
that
the
very much.
house.
But unfortunately, they didn't do that much, so I didn't. I just went to other families. That was more my mo.
You were the one that came to my house.
Yes, I would, and I would have joined. I would have been calling you mom and everything. I don't play.
All right, I tell people all the time there's probably over 100 kids that are adopted that call me mom, and still do to this day.
Yeah. But I love that. You create and think about how many memories you created for other people, and other children and families, and maybe created traditions you didn't even know you created for them.
Right, right. And just to give, because I know some of them didn't really have that safe space of hope.
Mhm.
So for that short period of time that they spent in mine, it was home. It was safe. And you knew that you were loved. You knew not to cross mom. And, I
Yeah.
had 2 rules: don't lie to me and don't steal from me.
Hmm.
But you knew you were loved, even if I was screaming my head off at you because you did something stupid. You knew you were loved because I cared enough to come after you.
Exactly. Exactly. And I have those same two rules too. So it's kind of like I can take anything from anybody, but those, don't lie and don't steal. I cannot. I just can't.
And if you follow those 2 rules through life, it gets you so far. Don't lie to people and don't steal. And you're pretty much golden.
Exactly. It's so simple. Yeah, people make it so complicated.
Right. Well, and you're in Arlington. I'm actually going to be there in
Oh
November,
wow.
Thanksgiving week, my mother's memorial. My dad is at the Arlington Cemetery,
Oh, okay. Wow.
at the military cemetery. So we have her memorial service there on the 20, I don't know, it's the week of Thanksgiving. I don't remember what date. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'll be there.
Oh wow. I'll have to look me up. I'll have to go have
Yes.
coffee or
Yeah.
something.
I was reading your bio yesterday and I'm like, oh, wait, I'm going there. My
Yeah.
nephew used to live in Arlington. My parents used to live in Arlington, actually, too.
Oh wow. It's the second one I've been on where someone knew the area. The last one
Well,
I was on, she knew my church pastor. I was like, what?
and my sister and my parents lived in Azle, and nobody knows where Azle is. And
Hmm.
it's like
I
this little bitty
do.
town, this little bitty town, down by DFW.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a lot like home, but yeah, I don't know. My daughter reserved a Verbo house that sleeps like 12. She
Hmm.
said I don't know what town that's in, because she said it's a little bit of a drive, but they have a sister property that we could get also if we needed another 10 or 12 beds. So,
That's good.
and everybody's used to driving down there anyway. It's like I'm in Phoenix Valley, so 40 minutes is not really that far.
Yeah, that's just a trip to the store, the grocery store, right? I lived out in the country for a while too. I tried to make it out there, but there's no jobs out there, so I ended up back in the city.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I prefer the quiet country life. It's much more fun.
Me too. I grew up small town Indiana. So Texas is a lot similar to the Indiana climate, but I really do like the desert. I don't like the cold. I don't like the humidity. So this is ideal.
Picked a good spot then.
So, well, thank you so much.
Well, you're very welcome.
I could talk to you all day, but
Mhm.
I have other things I absolutely have to do. Well, actually, I have Grammy story night in 2 hours. I have things I have to do in between, but yeah, we started. My grandkids are all at least 1,800 miles away. So twice a week, we do 30 to 40 minutes on Zoom that
Oh,
I
fun.
get to say goodnight and tell them stories at bedtime. And so
Oh, I love
whenever they
that.
can show up, whoever can show up Wednesday or Saturday, they come and hang out with Grammy. We're just getting started. This is only like week 3, but the 4-year-old is very schedule oriented, and he already remembers, and he was upset because he forgot Saturday was Grammy night. So
Oh.
he's very excited for tonight.
Oh, good. I like that idea.
It's awesome.
Good.
Yeah, it's awesome because they have lives and they're busy and it's hard. I know, I understand that. That's what I told him Sunday when she said he was bummed because he forgot about Saturday night. And I said, but that's why Grammy does it 2 nights.
That's right.
Because if something comes up and you miss it, then you can come the next time.
That's right. Exactly. Oh, I love that though.
So, any last thoughts to leave with people? How do we get in touch with you? Do you do local groups or do you just do individual?
I pretty much do individual right now. I have been posting stuff on social media and different things. But catherinebass.com is the best place to reach me. Or you can get my stuff there. And you can contact me anyway off of that. Or my email is Kathy@catherinebass.com. So if you wanted to shoot me an email, I don't think I have that on my website, but you can fill out.
It's in these notes, actually.
So,
it was on your bio, so it's in these notes.
Okay. Yes. Whatever email. I got like 5 emails, but they all get to me and I see them all every day. So whichever one it is, it'll get to me. I've been trying to consolidate it down, but the past couple of months I've been all over the place and having, different ones with the tax stuff. And then I'm trying to do the coaching stuff. And now I'm finally getting it all separated and where it's supposed to be. So, but anyways.
Well, and we just connected on Facebook. So if you can't find her, get a hold of me and we'll get you guys connected. Because I think what you do is awesome. It's beautiful because I know for my mom, it was a hard transition. And my parents lived with my oldest sister for 2 or 3 years before my dad died. So she had that support already in place, but still, that's a whole different, 80 years old. They had been married and her whole life, basically.
Yeah, that's a huge transition for sure. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's a hard one for that many years together. Because I had only 25, but it's still, and still there's a lot of people that had one and they were perfectly happy and in love. So not that
Right.
one's any different, but it is. But it's like when you spent your entire life with someone, and then now everything of your future has changed because all your dreams with that person is now dead, then you have to rebuild your
Right.
life, and at whatever age you are. And I can't imagine doing that
Oh
as an
yeah,
older,
and
lady.
the
It was
last
hard enough at 45.
right, the last few years, she had basically been his main caregiver. He didn't need lots of care or skilled care, but that was what she did. And that was part of the reason that they went to live with my sister, because my sister said she's doing too much and she's going to wear herself out. And
Mhm.
so I'm glad that they had that option so that they could
Yeah.
still be together and be with family and not, you know, have to be in like an assisted living or something. But she loved it. Taking care of him, that was her passion. And she just adored him. And she got to do that right up till the end.
Yeah, and then I imagine it was hard when that stopped too, because then she had
Right.
all that space to fill. Oh, I can
Right.
imagine. Hmm.
Well, then she just started doing mission work and taking
Yeah.
care of other
Well,
people.
yeah. Well, at least she found something else to get into, because not some of us like to wallow and and don't move on as quickly. But that's good. I'm
Right.
glad she did that.
Well,
That's good.
thank you so much again, and we will definitely stay in touch. I'm actually going to send you information about my storyteller circle, because I think you will absolutely love it. I am
Okay.
looking for founding stewards. The first circle opens October 1st, and I'm looking
Hmm.
for 13 founding stewards that will help shape it and, help create what it's going to look like in the future. And so I will shoot you a message about that.
Definitely. Definitely.
I'm excited. That's
Out.
like going to be my kitchen table now,
Yes.
because I don't have that anymore, and I need people around me that I can feed and love on,
Yes.
and we need that space to tell our stories in a safe environment
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
say those things that we haven't said to other people, and say, is it okay to say this, and how can this help other people? And to be able to say that in a small, safe environment and play with it and let it birth and create, and then decide how or if you want to put it out there.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I'm really excited for it, and it'll turn into publishing books and whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, when
It'll
I did my chapter, it was so healing, and being in that circle, it felt like a circle, women's circle. Every
yeah.
time it was 18 of us, but we each had a different chapter on different, everyone's, journey was different. So some of them were, some had cancer, or someone had lost a child, or did, so it was a very variety of things that we were talking about. But just being able to, that women's circle was so valuable, and I got so much healing through
Oh
that.
yeah.
So I think that's huge of what you're doing, because that's going to help so many women. And yeah, definitely send me something.
Okay, definitely. I will do that. All right. Take care, and we will
Thank
stay in
you.
touch.
Sounds good. Thank you.